Well, let's have a look at this then. It wouldn't start the last time I tried to do it. For some reason, don't know why. So what I've done so far is I've taken the front off. No idea what I've done with the two little bolts that hold the air filter cover on. They've just been lost somewhere because I took them off ages ago and I have no idea whether... Oh, that might be one. Is that one? That could possibly be one. Don't know. Well, I'll keep that actually, just in case it is one. Does that go in there? I think that goes in there, but never mind. Anyway, so I've taken it off, taken the fuel tank off. There wasn't a lot of fuel in there, but I don't know whether it was just a fact of fuel weren't getting in there. There wasn't any fuel in the pipe, so it does make me wonder. However, carburetor is almost off. All I've got to do is just disconnect the throttle cable, the little thing, and actually I might be able to, no, doesn't work, is it? I've just got to disconnect it. I'm going to need 2 hands for that. I've just got to disconnect that, pull the carb off, and then we can inspect it and see what the matter is with it. Well, actually, what I decided to do, because I don't really want to be taking this apart if there's just no fuel in there. Maybe there's a little block in that pipe or something, I don't know. So I just thought to myself, well, before I go fannying about taking the carb off, let's undo the bolt and see whether there's any fuel in the bowl, because there may be, or there may not be. If I can do it with my left hand. Bloody difficult trying to do stuff with your left hand, I'll tell you that now. Oh, I've done most of it. We've got a bit of fuel dripping out, look. It is dripping. So there is fuel in there. So we do know that there is a bit. It smells a bit damp. It does. It smells a little bit out of date. Never mind. Let's see if we can undo the rest of this, and we'll see how much. There's probably, oh, you're not going to be able to tell because the rag will stop it anyway, but oh, there's hardly anything in there. There's hardly any fuel in there whatsoever. It's pretty gooey though. So that might have been the problem. Now I'm half inclined now to put it back together, top up the fuel in the tank, and make sure that it comes out the little pipe. Make sure it comes out that pipe freely, and put it back together to see if we can fill the bowl up. So I think that's what I'm going to do, to save taking the carb off. If I don't have to, I'm not going to. So I'm going to put the tank back on and put a bit more petrol in it and see if we can get it flowing out that bowl nicely. Haha! After a little rummage around, I managed to find myself an old can which has got some pet rolls inside. Found myself a bit of 2-stroke oil, which is what I want. Pour a bit of that in. Lovely job. Put the old lid on and give it a shake. I think that's well mixed, don't you? Just put the tank back on and stick it in the tank. Right then, front's back on. I ain't put the bolts in for the tank yet. I've loosely put that bolt in. Put the old fuel line back on down there. Now I just got to do these up. These are important. Now, just so you lot know, these are important. because these hold the carb as well. They hold the carb on as well. You think it's just to hold this little metal plate on or this bit of plastic. No, these strips of threaded bar come through and they hold the carb on. Yeah, so you got to do these up. I don't know why one's longer than the other. I'd never understand why things are like that. One is significantly longer than the other. It is on properly. But yeah, you've got to do these up because it holds the carb on. So without this, if you don't do these up, if you just put that thing on, or even if you try and start it without the plastic on, it ain't going to work. You've got to put these nuts on. So I'm going to do that and then we'll see how it goes. I'll put the old fuel in. In fact, let's put the old fuel in there. Let's get that over and done with, shall we? There ain't a lot in there at all, really. So doing it with my left hand again, so it's probably going to go everywhere. Probably going to fill it up. Look how red that is, that's proper mixed. Nice and rich. This fuel was probably about 3 years old. I found it buried down the back of the shed, outside. Right, there we go. Sweet, now let's do them nuts up and see what happens. Right, there's the bung plug for the carb bowl. Still not put back in under there, so let's turn the fuel on and see if we get any flowage. Hopefully we should get some start to drip out. Fuel is now on. We should get it dripping out. Obviously a blockage somewhere. Right, let's see if we can unblock it. Well, that's what's inside the old bowl. Taking the bowl off now, have a look inside there. That's what's in there, a little bit of goop, a little bit of stuff. Not too bad though. So there's a bit of a clean on the inside, but nothing too bad. I've hardly ever used this generator actually. In fact, I haven't really. I used it once when we went camping for a week. No, it wasn't even a week, it was like 4 days. It was running all day long for them 4 days though. But that's just old fuel in there. It's not actual dirt. It's probably a bit of old two-stroke oil and stuff. Right then. Now I have established that the fuel is still on, but we're not getting any life. When we push on the choke, when we push on the float, nothing happens. That should be flowing now. As we put it up, it should stop. So that should be flowing now, but it ain't. So there's obviously a blockage on the fuel line somewhere. So it's off again with the fuel line, and we'll spray a bit of the old carb spray in there and see what pops out or whatever. Update. Right. Not only have I just drank, breathed in, and everything else, a load of petrol, but I used my old trusty airline, attached it to the pipe, and it blew it out. Now there appears to be some nice air coming out from under here, out the jet. So let's put the bowl back on and see what happens. Right, so on my quest I've had to take the old carb off completely. I've had to take off this stupid governor. All governors are stupid anyway, so I've had to take that off that shaft. And let's just have a look. Basically it's definitely blocked because I can't blow anything down that inlet tube, so there's a jet in here blocked somewhere. there goes that governor. And yeah, anyway, so let's have a look. I just thought I'd show you, look, because some of you have no idea. So you got the choke, nice little choke at the front, and that's open. That's for general running. And closed. Close that little butterfly for when you're starting it up. Restricts the airflow. Air can only go through that little hole. Yeah, and when it's open, air can go all the way through. Although, you know, this is only on a little generator. But if this was on a performance carb, you'd want that to be as flat as possible, because those screws are going to create like resistance on both sides. So is that thing. So you want that as flat as possible. But it's just a generator, so it doesn't matter. And on this side, you got the throttle. That's a little butterfly. That's wide open, full throttle. And you know, it closes, and that's tick over. Nothing. So yeah, not a lot else to really explain about that. It's very easy and straightforward carburetor. Obviously you got the float bowl. Now I've got to try and find out which jet is blocked. Now if there's no fuel getting in there, because it's blocked obviously. So trying to find out where the inlet jet is. I need better lighting in this place. I can't see with my own eyes, let alone with the camera. There is one in there. Let's have a little look, blow about with a bit of carb spray and see what happens. I'm getting covered in gnats. Alright, we've got the blockage out, bit of carb spray in there. Put the tube on and blow through it with my mouth. And now we got it. Now let's have a look, see if I can get this on the old video. You know, I'm blowing on it with my mouth. Now, you imagine fuel is coming up, filling that float bowl up, right? This carb spray proper stings your mouth. Right, so you got your fuel going up, and this float will start to rise, right? So that my breath is fuel, and it's starting to rise up, and it'll close off like a dam. It'll close it off like a valve. That's what it is. It's a valve. That's what it is. It's attached to a valve on there. So it's a fuel going in. No more fuel. So yeah, I got the blockage out. It's all done. So let's put it all back together, and we should better get it to run. We love it when it runs. Oh yes. I do like fixing an engine and making it run, especially an old carbureted one. Carbureted ones are the best. Anyway. Something which is painfully obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. You got to remember which splines and the position that you had your governor or any other thing you take off a spline. Make sure you get it in the right position when you put it back, and make sure that it's alright, and make sure you put the spring back on that pings it back to being on, well, actually pings it on the full throttle, it does. But it needs a bit of resistance, so make sure you put that back on properly, otherwise you'll have running problems. Governors are shit and useless anyway, but they're there, so you got to have it on. But just make sure you put it on the right splines. Back together, petrol everywhere, because I didn't put the bolts back in for the tank, and I lifted it up by the handle, and of course the tank came off, and so did the fuel line. And it put petrol all over the engine. Never mind. Right, so we're on choke. We're switched on. I have put the bowl back on the carb. Before I put the bowl back on the carb, I turned the fuel on, and there was fuel coming out as there should be. So in theory, and with any luck, I should be able to pull this and we should fire up with any luck. So let's see what happens. That's not looking good, is it? I thought we had it. I did, unless I pulled a wire off by accident. I think I have. Turn the choke off. I thought we had that for a minute. Let's have a look. Well, it's now some time, and I've managed to get it to run on the choke only. As soon as you take the choke off, it then just dies. So there's obviously some fuel getting through, but not enough. So I'll just have to continue it tomorrow evening. So there's going to be a part 2. Oh sweet. I don't know what the time is. The time is now, oh, look at that, 10 o'clock at night. Not bad. Not bad at all. The old watch glows, look. Oh, it doesn't anymore. It was glowing. It did glow. It used to glow. Oh well. Stay tuned for part 2 where I'll try and get it running properly. Not just on the choke.